Tackle 40 minutes of racing action, a 40-minute race set to have a whole lot of stuff to worry about if you are these racers. Have to worry about the pit stop. Inside your screen, switched his attention to the massive pack of race cars that's going to blow his doors off and blow off the starter stand. The green flag is out, the drivers are on their way. At this race, the grass and the gravel that lines this racetrack, it's old school, so it doesn't have a whole lot of asphalt runoff area. But he's a very talented racer of his own. These two fast. These drives very early on into this race, looking Daniel Wood on a big crash, heading through turn number 1. That's chasing that turn number 4, and here we go, side-by-side racing off into the corner. This can usually end in tears. One of these drivers is going to have to back out of it. That's going to be Adela, but Martin's still allowing some room coming out of the corner. The side-by-side going up the hill through turn number 6. Spade coming out of the corner. Walker, the Canadian, in the number 96. They are banging doors, heading into the braking zone for the final time. They're linked together. That or you put a qualifying fuel load in either way. Getting a whole lot of pressure side by side with himself, and that is
now coming out of the pits. Let's see what his pit lane time is, because this is going to be very important when Yanchi wins.
I don't know what to say. There's Brett Cathcart upside down. And another driver coming in. That's Jeff Jacobson upside down. Oh, boy.
Well, hello and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Slow Motion Broadcasting, and welcome back to the Spec Racer Ford Weekend Warriors. This is round number 8 of the season, coming to you today from Donington Park. My name is Ron Mons. Alongside me in the commentary booth is Randall McGrew, and in the virtual production hauler, we have Guido Fox Marzuki. To kick off the second half of the season, we head down until I can't do it anymore. Hi guys, Ron sent me a bit of a thing here to try to do the intro, and I was gonna try to be Ron. I can't be Ron. Nobody can be Ron. Hey guys, my name is Adam Thompson. I'm joined in the commentary booth by Randall McGrew. In the production hauler for the second time this afternoon is Guido Marzuki. Guido, thank you so much for coming into Slow Motion Broadcasting. Randall, we're at Donington Park today. It's gonna be a fun one. We have almost 50 cars, looking like about 45 cars on the track this afternoon.
It is going to be action-packed. That first lap is going to be chaotic. Look out for fireworks as they come to turn 4. That's going to be the trickiest section on the track. Possibly even at the start, going to see some drivers still making their way through that final chicane when the leaders take the green flag. So it'll kick off pretty early. We'll see quite a herd of cars making their way towards turn 1. Watch out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to get this out of the way very, very quickly here. We do have a sponsor for this weekend for the Spec Racer Fords, and it's all of the Weekend Warriors members. Again, thank you guys so much for everything that you guys do. Obviously, this is a joint effort to put this broadcast on. So to all of the Weekend Warrior members, thank you so much. But looking here, looking at this scenic cam, we've already got cars driving off the track, Randall. So clearly it's already started, and we're only about 7 minutes into qualifying.
Yeah, they'll be taking liberties with the track limits all day. Last time slow motion broadcasted a race here, conditions were extremely different, soaking wet. This time it's all dry. They're going to use as much of that track as they can and then some.
Stevie, lay off the rain while you're at it, man. I mean, I know at least we got a dry session to Spec Racer Ford, but those poor Formula Ford guys are having a seriously tough time out there. But it sounds like we've got some points to go through here before we get into the bread and butter of qualifying. Felix Samo is up in first place right now with 608 points. Jason Green following him up with 537. Trenton Kramer in third. Aleix Pleva in fourth with Sewell Al-Shootri rounding out your top 5, and then back to Daniel Wood in 6th with 366 points. On to Spec 2, Dan Whitsack from Canada, absolutely flying right now with 404 points. Ben Rycroft in 2nd with 338. Very, very close. When I say very close, 1 point behind him is Paolo Breme in 3rd. Andrew Love in 4th with Daniel Salmon rounding out your top 5. Finally, in the Masters, I bet you it's going to be Jorg Mani, and of course it is. Jorg Mani up there in first place right now with 458 points, pulling away every week from Brad Cathcart with 381, Antonio Reese in third. Speaking of anvils, this guy has seen nothing but anvils this season in the Weekend Warriors. Adam Bradshaw in fourth with Tom Gradwell rounding out your top 5. We're about 9.5 minutes now into qualifying, trying to figure out what driver we can go on board with here, Randall. And I know you are so good at doing a flying lap, and there are plenty of drivers for Guido to choose from here.
Absolutely. Right now, Naselli on the pole with a 13.739 and just shy of 2/10 ahead of Yanxi Lin. We're going to go on board with Flavio Andalo now coming. Already made his way through turn 1, so making his way through turn 2. It starts the downhill run through turn 3, and you really need to kind of sacrifice exit here to get over to the left to open up the entry to the old hairpin. Turn 4, this is where we're going to see drivers struggle the most with the track limits, as we see Adam Bradshaw ahead of him, and he's going to take the video game line across turn 5 and send it for a wild ride over the bumps, and he's not going to be able to count that lap. So maybe we'll find another driver that's starting a flying lap. It tends to be the case around here whenever we try to do this lap guide. Everybody either pits or messes up. So we're now at Maurizio Naselli, your provisional pole sitter. He's quick around here. He's coming through turn 2, the downhill run through turn 3. Again, going to sacrifice a bit on the exit here to keep the car to the left to open up that entry at turn 4. You see that his car was turning in and his wheel was still straight. So you're using your feet to turn the car more than you are the steering wheel. And at this track, you see him making his way up through turns 5 and 6 to the very fast right-hander of McLean's. You need to get this absolutely right. The exit's a little bit blind, but as you come over the crest, you can easily see that exit curve. You know, keep the car over to the left as they come through turn 8. This is the most important corner to get right, this double apex right-hander. You really need to get back to that throttle as early as possible to get a nice, good run down Starkey straight. They're going to keep the car over to the left to open up the entry to this final chicane. They're really going to want to abuse the curbs here. Run as much of these curbs as you can. You see he hits the red curb on both sides as he comes through and then uses that exit curb to his advantage to get a really fast exit out of that corner. It comes down across the line. Is he able to improve? It does not look like he improves. He's about 4/10 slower that lap, but he is absolutely flying.
Leonard, I'm sorry, I might get your name wrong here, but Leonard Geese just threw in 3 green sectors. It's going to move him up quite a bit there. As I said, we have 44 drivers on track right now. He's up into 34th place. But Randall, I've got a quick question for you here. I know you own / admin American Muscle Series. Have you ever run here around Donington?
Yeah, we've ran Donington a few times, and it's a great track, especially for cars of this speed. It really kind of brings out the best characteristics of cars of this caliber. So you expect to see a really exciting race, good fighting, good racing, side-by-side action, elbows out, slipstreaming, everything you could ask for.
And my next question is, because you've run here around Donington, off tracks looks like they're going to happen today. Qualifying is definitely an important spot not to get off tracks. What are the off track limits around here? Normally, a lot of times it's 4 tires on the curb. A lot of times it's half the car over the white line.
You know, I don't think that this track has been updated like many of the other tracks in the sim to allow some of the enhanced runoffs. But I'll take a look at the rule sheet that we get in the sim now, and it doesn't really. I'm not seeing anything. So this is going to be your standard off-track rules for iRacing. Now, those limits are never really clearly defined, but Yanxi Lin now sets the fastest lap with a 13.665. So that's going to bump Naselli back to second. But most of the times, you're pretty safe to run the curb. It's whenever you start getting wheels off into the grass on those curbings that you start to run off track. So they do run a pretty tight ship in this league. Not a lot of incident points to be had. So we might see some drivers get some drive-through penalties from incidents, especially if they get involved in an early race crash. So keeping it on the island is going to be pretty important for some of these drivers.
I am so glad Guido went to this driver, the car number 215, Michelle Lynn, a very, very good friend of mine, I will say. Michelle, hope you're doing well today, and I hope your birds lose. Just kidding. Just kidding. Please don't get in a fight in the comments. By the way, happy Super Bowl Sunday, everybody. But Michelle in the very, very purple 215 car, sitting right now in 37th position. Doesn't look like she's going to improve on this lap either. Maybe an off track. She definitely had to slow down for Yanxi. Actually probably gave him a bit of a draft going into. So we'll see if Yanxi's able to improve his time at all. Oh my goodness. Maurizio Naselli actually pips Yanxi Lin by about 8/100ths of a second, Randall.
Yeah, these drivers are going back and forth on the leaderboard right now. Yanxi Lin is able to get a slipstream off Naselli, so if you're going to follow somebody, that's the car to follow. I suspect that Naselli might have gotten the slipstream down the straightaway and got the move done before the chicane and was able to get that lap back. But now Yanxi Lin is in the catbird seat here in the closing stages of qualifying. Just over 5 minutes left to go, so we're going to see if these two continue to exchange blows. Jörg Manny not far off of these two either when it comes to time. There are only 3 drivers under the 114 barrier.
This is good. I haven't seen this graphic before. I can tell Guido settling in perfectly. Look at these sector times right now. 3/10 of a second faster for Lin in sector 1, but he lost all of that time going through sector 2. This is nip and tuck right here, Randall.
Yeah, he may have been actually experiencing a little bit of aero understeer coming through the middle section of the track, which is not normally something you would get in these cars, but with the speed that these two are carrying, it wouldn't surprise me. It looks like Yanxi Lin backed off a little bit there on the straightaway, was not able to close that gap up. I doubt he improves his time here. We'll take a look as he crosses the line, and I don't see an improvement coming across. No, not at all. Neither of them breaking through the 114 barrier, so not able to improve this time by, but they still have a couple more laps in the bank to try to set a fast lap. Naselli's still going to be leading the way here, so maybe Yanxi Lin doing a little bit of gamesmanship, but Jörg Manny not very far away from getting a slipstream.
Yeah, Bobby West in the chat as well. Hello, Bobby, West Tech Esports. Nice to see you in the chat. I hope you're out on track. It doesn't look like you are, though. But one thing I wanted to mention here with Maurizio Naselli, when does the gamesmanship go to him, Randall? As we're, well, we are watching now Joachim Osbeck off the track, but maybe Maurizio. Oh, my goodness, was that? What just happened there? That was Maurizio Naselli off the track.
It looks like he got tangled with Paul Jackson, so maybe they were just trying to get through the same piece of track, and a little bit of contact led to them both going off. Yanxi Lin probably compromised his lap in that space. Jörg Manny's still sitting 1.9 seconds behind him on track, so we'll see if he's able to get any speed out of that car. We're going to see exactly what happened here with Naselli as they're coming up to turn 7, and it looks like the car head just gets slowed down and has to check up, and Naselli doesn't see it coming quickly enough, and it just collects him.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, I think, for Yanchi and Mauricio. Well, it's more unfortunate for Yanchi, as Yanchi definitely gets an off track there, dealing with more traffic. But I wanted to mention that with Mauricio. Why doesn't Mauricio just kind of slow down a little bit? If he does not want Yanchi to get his draft, Mauricio can do a little bit of lifting there and make Yanchi drive around him.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. Maybe he doesn't want to play the gamesmanship game and was just trying to go as quickly as he could. Maybe it just caught him off guard. You really do expect the car ahead to be full throttle at that point, though he would have had a pretty clear view of that driver having a handful with that car coming through that corner. So if we get to talk to him after the race, maybe if we can remember to ask him what happened in qualifying, but I don't think he's going to remember come time the green flag drops.
No, absolutely not. Bobby, new baby, put track time on hold. Bobby, yes, I am about to be in your position here in about a month, a little over a month. I'm expecting one as well. So congratulations to Bobby West on his new addition to his family. I hope you're having fun. From what I hear, like, you're probably not getting much sleep. So I'll be in your boat here in about a month. But we are still watching Jorg Monty around the track right now. Nope, we're watching Jason Green now. Jason Green up into 8th place at the moment. And look at that interval between himself and Kevin Binkley, up right above him, 1/10 of a second. Now, I know that
1/1000th of a second.
Sorry, 1/1000th of a second. I'm kind of dumb. In case you guys didn't realize, ask Randall. He'll tell you I'm more than dumb. But again, 1/1000th of a second up there to Kevin Binkley. But these are things that we see a lot of times. Oh, who has just moved up? Trenton Kramer up into 4th place as well. 7/1000ths, Randall, of a second to Jorg Monty.
4 drivers in the 13s right now. We'll see if anybody else is able to crack in. Looks like Van Acklen is very close to cracking into that 13, as well as Felix Simoes. They're on identical times right now, it appears on my timing screen. Not 100% sure if that is accurate or not, but they are not on identical. They have identical gaps. So yes. I will learn to read eventually.
Yeah, well, see, you can't make fun of me anymore, Randall. I know you are a Marine, so we'll kind of get rid of or you are a Marine, excuse me. We'll just we'll get your reading woes out of the way. It's fine. I know most Marines don't know how to read. Please don't kill me, guys. I know you know how to fight a lot better than I do. But Mauricio Nazelli still up in 1st place. Jorg Monty in 3rd. Yanchi Lin off the track. I think he is on pit exit now. He may be able to get another lap in. I don't know. It's going to be tough. Trenton Kramer in 4th with Martin Van Ecklen sitting in 5th, and I know I probably got that wrong, and I apologize, Martin. I'm American. I'm sorry.
Never apologize for your nationality. Those Dutch people don't know how to spell anyway, so those names are extremely hard to pronounce sometimes. But I'm pretty sure you're right on Van Ecklen. I think that's the right way to say that. As we're watching now with Felix Simoes, he's got that Tortulo behind him, and Josh Wilkie behind those two. So Felix trying to set another good time, trying to break into the 113s. We'll see if he's able to do it this lap or not. I'm guessing not with the traffic, and no, it does not appear so. He was not able to improve with that traffic in the final corners. We're in the closing stages of qualifying here. 10 seconds left on the clock, so if you've started a flying lap, you should have time to finish that lap. This is your last chance to get that time set.
It is, and a driver that is off the track right now, so we don't need to go to him, but a driver that is right now leading in S2 is Ben Rycroft, all the way up in 6th position, doing an absolutely amazing job. His closest competitor right now is Aid Allen back in 12th, so very, very impressive. Jason Green still on track, Flavio Andalo, Paul Jackson, Dan Whitsack looks like he actually is, yes, on track. Just set a lap up into 13th place. So him and Aid Allen are definitely very, very close in time. 8/100ths of a second. See, I'm getting it, Randall.
You are getting it. And sometimes with these leagues like this that have multiple divisions of drivers, here in Spec 2, sometimes the driver will just really take to a track or really take to certain conditions. And it seems to be the case with Rycroft this time. He either loves Donington or these conditions really suit him, and he's able to punch well above his weight in that sixth position. We'll see if he's able to translate that into an equally good finish. A lot of times these Spec 2 drivers can qualify really well, but they can't do 40 laps at that pace. We'll have to keep an eye on him as Jason Green comes through to finish his qualifying. He's going to dip into the pit lane, kick one more stab at that pit entry. Pit entry here could be really, really crucial.
Oh, God, you just said it right there. Sewell Al-Shootwi, I think, comes flying in right behind him. No, that was the 27 car. But no, that was crazy. The pit entry, I just saw that for the first time. You got to check hard coming into the pits. Get ready for that when it comes race time. Qualifying is now over. All drivers off track. And there's a driver I want to talk about way up there at the top. Randall, that's Maurizio Nizelli. He's finally started to qualify, and look where he's put himself. He's not going to be driving through the field. He's going to have to drive away from it.
Nizelli is normally one that will qualify, normally qualifies up for the front, normally challenges for these wins week in and week out. It is Favini that you're confusing yourself with, who normally doesn't. That was the number 27 entry that you saw diving into the pit lane. He's going to be starting at the back of the field.
Yep, and here we go again. Just keep an eye on Andrea Favini. Let's see if he gets himself or other drivers in trouble starting from the back of the field. Now, Maurizio Nizelli in first place. Lining up beside him is Yanchi Lin in second. Martin Van Eckelen in third with Jorg Mani, the first Masters driver, in fourth, keeping his pace up. And he has got a long way back to the next Master. Trenton Kramer in fifth with Ben Rycroft starting in first for Spec 2 class in sixth. Felix Samoz in seventh. Josh Arnold eighth. Kevin Binkley ninth. Jason Green rounding out your top 10. Shulau Shutwi in 11th with Aid Allen rounding out your top 12.
13th place is Dan Witzak with Kurt Nunez, the second of the Masters division, starting 14th. 15th will be Flavio Andalo with Joaquim Osbeck starting alongside him. 17th, we'll see the likes of Paul Jackson, with 18th being Jan Cheech Tortulo will be starting in 19th with Michael McConnell in 20th. 21st, David Jarvis, Daniel Wood 22nd. Daniel Zippy Salmon starting 23rd with Slow Motion Broadcasting's own Joshua Wilkie in 24th.
In 25th place, we've got Brad Cathcart with Paolo Brime in 26th. We're only halfway through the field here, guys. Andrew Love in 27th with Adam Bradshaw in 28th. Leonard Geese in 29th with Tom Gradwell in 30th. Kenneth Batley in 31st. Stephen Mitchell coming home, starting 32nd. Scott Russell, 33rd. Jeff Wubker in 34th. Russ Telker, what up, Russ? In 35th with Michelle Lynn in 36th.
37th is Jim Brewster in the Masters entry, and Philip Berry starting alongside him in 38th. Domenico Massi in 39th. Matt Thompson driving for Frito Sport from American Muscle Series starting in 40th. 41st, Michelle Viglini. 42nd, Mario Kremser. And then Andrea Favini going to be trying to drive from 43rd to 1st. And starting next to him is Sebastian Post.
Yeah, that will round out your 44 car grid. Actually, 43. Josh Arnold looks like it doesn't look like Sebastian Paz has taken to the grid either. So 42 drivers. I apologize to Guido Marzucchi. We are throwing him straight to the wolves with 42 drivers here, rounding out your Weekend Warriors grid for Donington Park. We're waiting on that pace car to come in, and it is a very, very slow pace. All these drivers want to do or get going, but Jorg Mani, keep an eye on him. Sitting in that second row, Randall, looks like he might be able, actually, I'm not going to throw it over to you because we're about to go green through the final chicane with Yanchi Lin. Maurizio Nizelli going to lead him away. There's already brake checks. Watch out. This could be, oh no, this might be the exact same thing that happened a couple weeks ago. Joshua Wilkie's already got damage. People spinning out in the back. Yanchi Lin, Maurizio Nizelli leading him down into turn one. Looks like Mauricio's going to get the best of Yanchi Lin. Is that Trenton Kramer? It is going to try to take second place away from Yanchi Lin. Maybe trying to think about sticking it three wide. No, Yanchi Lin around the outside now of Maurizio Nizelli through the chicane. What happens here, Yanchi Lin? They got to file in here sometime. It looks like they have.
Absolutely, get it shaken out before they get to turn four. It's very important to try to get in single file before that corner. It's the tightest one on the circuit. Yanchi Lin under a lot of pressure from Trenton Kramer. Trenton Kramer looking really punchy here early. I think that was Michelle Viglini that we saw spinning in the final chicane there at the start. So other than that, it looked like a very clean start. Kind of unexpected. Not a surprise, but unexpected.
Yeah, Joshua Wilkie did get some damage. You saw brake lights coming. Maurizio Nizelli goes around. Trenton Kramer caught him. Maurizio Nizelli falling down. There's more drivers. It's caught in Maurizio Nizelli's wake. Look at all these drivers. Maurizio Nizelli falling way down the field here, Randall.
Hard to see from that angle if there was any help involved there or if he lost it on his own. These tires are cold, so he may have been it on his own as he bumps the 909. Get out of my way. I got spots to make up.
Oh my goodness, it has turned into carnage. Great start, not so much. Great end of the lap. Look at all that's happened. Yanchi Lin says thank you very much. Goodbye. Felix Samoas, Jorg Monty, Trenton Kramer, your top 4.
Absolutely. Maybe we can get the replay loaded of that to see if he had any help at all. But to me, it kind of looked like he lost it on his own as he came across the crest. The rear end of the car stepped out. It makes me think that he had enough heat in the front tires, not enough in the rear, caused it to oversteer coming across that crest. And he was just on a right from there. He got lucky that he didn't get clobbered by any of the other drivers coming through. We now see Yanchi Lin leading the way down to turn 4. And he's got a pretty comfortable lead here, half a second over Felix Samoes, and then a little bit of a gap for him back to Jorg Manny.
He does, but these intervals are still close enough to have some draft all the way back to Kevin Binkley in 8th place. So everyone still doing a great job up in that top 8. I know for a fact that Mauricio Nazelli is steaming right now. I know he's got some damage. That is unfortunate for Mauricio Nazelli, but Yanchi Lin now winning right now, for now, 2 minutes in, excuse me. I don't know what I'm doing right now. Randall, take it over for a second. We are looking at a replay now of the 319. I don't think this is a 319. I've got some replay issues here, Randall.
Yes, this is a 319. Looks like he had a little bit of help there in that final chicane on the start. Michelle Viglini going around and into the kitty litter. Not exactly sure. Maybe he didn't quite have the entitlement to that inside, then has problems getting it going back in the right direction. Once getting it to the gray stuff, eventually gets going in the right direction and has a lot of ground to make up.
Yeah, that was Michelle Viglini there in the 319 car. Now we are back looking at what happened with Flavio Andalo. Looks like Aid Allen there on the inside. Great move so far. Looks like Aid Allen. Oh, that was just a good move by Michelle Viglini. Or Flavio Andalo, excuse me.
And then here we go with Naselli. We're going to see exactly what happened here at the top of the hill. They're running up the hill after turn 7, coming to this very, very quick right-hander. Sorry, and it looks like, yeah, it looks like he has to check up, and then Yanchi kind of put the nail in that coffin there and send him back around. Again, very lucky not to get some heavy damage on that car. He's still going to be in a good position to make up some spots. We're going to see it now again from Yanchi Lin's perspective, maybe. See, Naselli is getting loose already, loose. He has to check up, and Yanchi Lin just not prepared for it. So we'll see what the stewards say about that. But I don't see a lot of fault there in Yanchi Lin. But who am I? Nobody cares what I think.
Yeah, nobody does care what you think, Randall. And you did see Yanchi turn that wheel just a little bit left before there was contact. We've got another crash here with Jan Janchik 4 wide. This is not going to go well. Going into the chicane, he's in the grass and into the 28. And that was the start of what we saw at the end of lap 1, Randall.
Yeah, Janchik is not a stranger to being aggressive, and it's already being aggressive. The opening laps is the best opportunity to make moves happen. So not really faulting anybody for being aggressive. Gets out there on the grass. The brakes don't work nearly as well out there. He's lucky that the car ahead didn't get more damage and his car didn't get more damage.
Yeah, absolutely. But Trenton Kramer has one driver that is normally no stranger to being aggressive as Trenton Kramer. He's able to avoid all of those incidents, now sitting up into 4th place with a very, very real possibility of taking this win. But looking here at Michael McConnell into the chicane with Joshua no, that's Joaquim Osbeck. It looks like Michael McConnell thought better of it, got out of it, but there is a 2x2 behind him. The 909 of Tom Gradwell back there as well. There's all kinds of stuff going on right now. Yanchi Lin still doing his thing up at the front.
Sulal Shootway right now, the only driver into the 13s with his fastest lap, has the fastest lap of the race with a 13.983. So Sul on quali pace right now, faster than he qualified, up 6 spots. So he is making hay while the sun's shining, and he's going to be trying to close in. And looks like, yes, he's in contact with these leaders. So he's got a chance to win this race. Maurizio Naselli looks like he has more front end damage. So maybe another incident, or possibly just still the remnants of that end of that first lap. But he's trying to carve his way back through the field. He was down as far as 19th, I believe, has made his way back up to 11th. So he is trying to get spots while he can. Look for him to make a move on the inside here. The 659 absolutely does. A little bit of a bump there, but it's not going to upset either car. So Mauricio Naselli gets that spot and now looks ahead to Tortullo. You see Yanchi Lin leads the way, and is that Jörg Manny's under pressure from Trenton Kramer. He's going to go defensive on the exit of the chicane, going to give up the inside line for turn 1. And here comes Felix Simoes on Yanchi Lin. We're seeing a bunch of moves at the front of the field that's really going to back this group up, bunch them up into each other. So Felix Simoes looking to provisionally be your new leader here, but Yanchi Lin is fighting back on the outside, going to retain that spot. They're going to race down to turn 4.
It is one thing to fight at the front. I get it. Everyone wants that first position. There are bonuses for laps led here, but the one thing you can't do is let Tortolo and Maurizio Nizelli get back up to that battle.
It looks like Simoes got a slowdown. Sorry to step on you there, Adam, but it looks like Simoes maybe a little bit too exuberant in that attack, and it's going to drop him down behind Jörg Manny, so he's going to have to give up some spots to serve that slowdown. Looks like he's got it served and is back under full speed, but he gave up a handful of positions to do it.
7 seconds back right now. 7 seconds back right now to Kevin Binkley. Russ Telker, oh no, is this going into the final chicane? I think it is. Does he catch the curb on the right? He does, and there he goes. Holds on to it though. No wall contact. Uh-oh, just kidding.
You spoke too soon. You spoke too soon. The commentator's curse, it looked like he had made it through there, and once he got back onto the pavement, didn't quite have all 4 wheels underneath him before he got onto that throttle, and it goosed him right across the track and into the wall.
Yeah, we've got Joshua Wilkie in the chat talking about that start, and I did see a lot of damage, and that is one of those things you get at Donington. Everyone tries to gas it up on the start after the chicane to get back up to the leaders while all the leaders are checking, getting ready to go green. It is just not a great spot to start this race, and iRacing, move the start-finish line a little further down the straightaway, please. But anyways, Trenton Kramer now in the lead, Randall.
He's fighting with Yanchi Lin. Yanchi still has the defensive line, and it looks like he's going to retain the lead. Oh, maybe not. They're still going to be side by side as they race up the hill. This will be very dodgy going side by side through the turn 8 like this. We'll see if they manage to survive. Sulal Shootwe, Martin Van Akeland, both in kind of the capper seat, trying to see what happens, see who they're going to go with to try to make some moves happen. They continue to be side by side for the lead. Yanchi Lin taking on all comers so far. Going to have the inside line going into the chicane. Will they manage to shake this out? And yes, Yanchi Lin is going to retain that position.
There may have been a slowdown there for Yanchi Lin. He cut that curb quite a bit on that right-hander. We'll see what happens if he does have to slow down, but it looks like Yanchi was able to hold that position. Trenton Kramer in second. There's a battle, though. Martin Van Ekeland is getting very much pressured by Sulal Shootwe. They still stay nose to tail.
You know, Jörg Manny's not going to be sitting back there saving fuel either. He's going to be waiting for an opportunity to try to make his way up through the field. Felix Simoes knows he has leading pace too. So all these drivers in this lead pack definitely have a chance to win, and they have a good 5.5 second gap back to, guess who? Maurizio Nizelli. Let's see if this fighting helps him close that gap back up and get back in contact with the leaders.
Randall, that gap has closed 2 seconds in the last 2 laps, and if they keep doing this, it's going to close even more, and Maurizio will be there halfway through this race. They've got to get this figured out. Trenton Kramer on the inside, Trenton Kramer on the outside, Martin Van Ekeland on the inside. Contact!
You know, it couldn't keep up for long as they scramble to avoid, and looks like everybody's going to get out of there relatively damage-free. Martin Van Ekeland going to lose a lot of time. That's going to help Nizelli get a little bit of slipstream to try to catch back up to them. So Ekeland not completely out of this race, but definitely out of contention for now. He's going to have to make sure that he keeps his head down, stay out of trouble, try to close that gap back up, and that gives Yanchi Lin quite the little gap now, 2 seconds.
Russ, welcome to the chat, my friend. We may or may not have gotten your incident on a replay, so please go back and watch it, or don't if you don't want to, Russ. But welcome to the chat. I wish to see you out there still on the racetrack. But Yanchi Lin now has pulled out a 2 second gap to Jörg Manny, but Jörg Manny sitting in second place. We've got a replay coming here, watching Martin and Trent. Let's see what exactly happens here, Randall.
I think Sulal Shootwe comes out the loser in this. I see him dropping like an anvil, as Ron Mons would say, down the order. So Sulal Shootwe somehow lost out in this. It looks like, yeah, just two pieces of driver going for the same piece of tarmac, and didn't work out. And Van Ekeland paid the price there.
He did. Trent Kramer now sitting back in 6th place, and the gap as the intervals are slowly starting to form here. Martin Van Ekeland back 3 seconds, and then Maurizio Nizelli, Tortolo, and Daniel Salmon in the top 10. When I say those gaps are starting to shrink, there are now actually some packs here, Randall, so that could help this second group if this front group decides to fight, but they got to get back up to Yanchi Lin first.
They're going to have to catch Yanqi Lin before they start fighting again, or he's going to drive away into the proverbial sunset. It looks like right now with Jörg Manning at the helm that they're going to be pretty content to kind of follow in line here for now, though we see that 75 car of Kevin Binkley kind of stepping out. We haven't really talked about him much. Here comes Samoes. He is not content to wait.
Yeesh, that was a very late move to the inside of Jörg Manning. That was dangerous, dangerous stuff. They get away with it, though. Jason Green now on the inside, now the outside of Jörg Manning. Jason does the smart thing, gets back in line. Felix Samoes now leading this group. Maybe they can keep up with Felix, and maybe Felix is faster than Yanqi Lin, but look at that gap now, ballooning to almost 3 seconds just from a side-by-side battle for 2 corners, Randall.
Absolutely. Naselli is licking his chops. He sees his chance to get back into this race, materializing here very early on. They still have 28 minutes of racing to go, so he has plenty of time. He's got some damage on the front of that car. Look at this gaggle coming through turn 8. Jeez. That is, turn 7. That is quite a sight to see. Is that 8 Allen there getting a little loosey-goosey on exit. Going to be 3 wide back there at that back of that coming through turn 8. And they made it.
Unbelievable. Flavio Andalo back there just trying to hold on to it. Flavio looks like he's got a bit of damage as well, but Ada Allen trying to hold on. Flavio now loses a position going through the chicane. Daniel Salmon going for the move to the inside of Joachim Osbeck. This is all to play for. Look at that side draft from Daniel Salmon. They're touching down the front straight.
Yeah, Daniel Salmon trying to pinch him into the entry to turn 1, not letting him blend over until the very last moment. He even doesn't blend over all the way, so not able to get the move done going into turn 1. A little bit of elbows out, driving very early on for some of these drivers. You kind of don't expect to see this Spec 2 drivers. There's going to be contact. Yes, Bradshaw is going to inflict himself onto that fight, and around goes Salmon. That's going to put him off into the kitty litter. He's going to get the car going back in the right direction. Flavio Andalo loses a little bit of pace off that. See Joachim Osbeck off track. He's going to give up a bunch of track position as well. So 3 to 2 just don't happen.
Sticking a nose in through high-speed S-turns, I do not recommend, and that is exactly why. But back here to Thor Tullo, sitting in 8th position right now, right in front of, or behind, excuse me, Tortello, Maurizio Nizelli. He's got the Cookie Monster paint scheme, and he wants... I'm going to say it, and this sounds really bad. He wants Maurizio Nizelli's cookie, Randall.
It said, me one cookie. We're going to take a replay of what happened in this crash. Keep your eye on the Irish flag livery car there, looking toward the inside, and it's just a little bit of miscommunication there. A little bit of netcode probably inflicted itself into that situation, and it causes Daniel Salmon's car to kind of get drawn in to Joachim Osbeck, and ends up in the gravel. But doesn't look like any of those cars got huge amounts of damage. Felix Samoes leading this group now 2.9 seconds behind Yanqi Lin. So that little break in action was all that Yanqi needed to start driving away. We'll see if Samoes has the pace to keep up with him, or if it was all slipstream before when those two fought.
I think it was slipstream, because that lead, as I've been watching it, is ballooned from 2.5 to 2.9 within the last lap. So Felix has got to find a little bit more right pedal while still using the left pedal, because this is racing and you can't just use the loud pedal to get up to the driver in front of you. 1.6, 1.5. What's happened to Yanqi Lin?
Did Yanqi Lin possibly get a slowdown somewhere in there, or maybe missed a shift and that cost him a whole second or more of time?
What is going on with Yanqi?
Now he's leaving. I don't know. Maybe he's playing the sportsmanship game and letting the drivers catch up. If we get to talk to him after the race, we're going to have to see what exactly happened at the end of lap 12.
Yanqi Lin, you are my hero. He wants a race. He wants a battle, and he wants Felix Samoes to get there. Unbelievable sportsmanship by Yanqi Lin. Doesn't want to drive away. Wants to battle with these guys behind him. Let's go, Randall.
We see Brad Cathcart in the pit lane, dropping down the order. One of the first to come in for service. And we see, looks like, was this Michelle Lin with a bit of an overtake? Yes, and she's got it in front of Daniel Salmon there, and now has her eyes on another spot. Makes a late move to the inside, coming through turn 2. They're going to be side by side coming down the hill. Always a little bit dangerous, but gets the move done well before they get to turn 4. Textbook move out of Michelle Lin.
That was unbelievably beautiful by Michelle Lin. I just got goosebumps on that one. Great pass by Michelle Lin. Yanshi Lin has allowed Felix Simoes back into the draft, so here we go through the final chicane. We got to start getting to pit stops here soon, Randall. We're almost halfway through the race, so I know these drivers can make it. Jason Green thought he was going into the pits. He just may have gotten in a bit of an issue there with Yorgmani. Yorgmani decides to move back to the outside to take the corner. Jason Green may have just gotten very close on the exit of that chicane.
I suspect that possibly he got a little bit wide on the exit with a bit of oversteer, and I think we're going to see a replay here of Daniel Salmon and Michelle Lin engaged in battle here as they come down. It looks like Daniel Salmon very close, going to get the inside run and then just runs a little bit wide there. Michelle left enough space, because carried a little bit too much speed. He's the one that pays the price for it as we go back to live pictures. So I would think the stewards are probably turned their heads on that one, but want to see a bit more clean driving. Don't blame Salmon though for making taking the opportunity.
Absolutely not. Michelle left that door open. Daniel had to make that move. You saw the over-under. He had the lines, but just did not hold the inside of the corner, and we've all done it. We've all been there. So, but Felix Simoes back up to the front here, trying to take this lead back away from Yanshi Lin. Yanshi Lin decided he wanted to race. Well, Yanshi, you've got one now, buddy.
Absolutely. Here comes Simoes, trying to pinch him down like we saw in the Spec 2 battle, but he's going to open up a little bit earlier, give Yanshi a bit more room to open up. Felix trying to keep the momentum, try to keep alongside, not going to get it done here, so he's going to have to try again, maybe in turn 4. A bit of a bump coming through the S's, so Simoes saying, yep, you wanted to race, here I am.
Exactly. Felix Simoes will take that opportunity, and I don't expect Felix Simoes to do the same if he drives off to a 2.5-second lead. Felix Simoes wants this win. Yorgmani, Trenton Kramer, Jason Green, a driver we haven't talked about, is now in this fight. He started in 10th place, Randall.
Yes, and he's made up a lot of ground. Jason Green never really qualifies the best, but he's always there when it comes to the race, and he's there right now. He's in a very good position to save some fuel, try to gain some track position on pit strategy. We're 15 laps in. We're serving 15 laps, coming to the 16th lap. We're about halfway through this race, just one lap shy of halfway through there or thereabouts. We're going to see some activity on pit lane soon. So we'll see if he's able to save any fuel or not.
So I gotta say this, Randall, strategy expert that you are. I do kind of sympathize with Antonio Reese and Stevie Ray. Come in when that pit window opens, which is about 15 minutes into this race. You can pit immediately about 15-minute mark. Why would you not do that? You've got all the fuel. You can fall back a little bit. You're not going to be, hopefully, in traffic when the cars are still bunched out the first 15 minutes of this race.
Cars this speed aren't really powerful enough to propel themselves without assistance of slipstream. Even tracks where you wouldn't think slipstream comes into play, with lower power vehicles, that it absolutely comes into play, and almost every track becomes a draft track. So when it comes to fuel usage, if you're behind other drivers, even if you're not lifting and coasting at any point, just being in the slipstream will make you a little bit better on fuel mileage, so you can save some fuel. So not by pitting early, you take yourself out of that opportunity to slipstream with cars that are your pace. Also, you find yourself having to deal with traffic, and some days traffic is easy, some days traffic is hard, but it's always a gamble.
Yeah, I lived in Phoenix, Arizona for 10 years. Please don't bring up traffic, Randall. But speaking of traffic, Tortolo, in a bit of traffic, he wanted Mauricio Nazelli's cookie. Now he's picking up the crumbs from Martine Van Eckelen. He has let Martine around even. So now Cookie Monster wants 2 cookies instead of 1. Let's see if he can get it done. I'm sorry. That was a terrible, terrible pun.
I think Tor is probably trying to save his cookies for the end of the race and have a faster pit stop at this point. A bit of damage on the front end of that car might be playing a role too. You see Yanshi Lin taking on Felix Simoes one more time, still retaining that lead, even giving up the gap so we can have a competitive race to watch here. Right now, Simoes doesn't seem to be able to get around him. He's like a dog chasing a car. He just doesn't know what to do with him once he's caught him.
No, he doesn't. And let's talk about Adam Bradshaw for 1 second. 13 seconds to Tortolo. But sitting second right now in Masters, a driver we haven't talked about at all this race, but it has been good for Adam Bradshaw. Jorg Monty sitting up in third, going to probably win the Masters and if an anvil doesn't fall on him. But Adam Bradshaw in second, Tom Gradwell in third in class. Ben Rycroft, though, holding on to 11th position right now, first in class.
We see there in the bottom right of the screen the gap differential as we go across laps between Binkley and Nazelli. That gap not closing as quickly as it was, but still closing a little bit each lap. So Nazelli's slowly but surely going to make his way up there. We'll see if he's been able to save enough fuel. Nazelli's one of those drivers that is always managing his fuel consumption. Just the way that he drives tends to make it so that he uses less fuel than the people around him. So we'll see how much time he gains on the pit stop to Kevin Binkley and some of these other leaders.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at lap 17, 0.6 of a second faster than Kevin Binkley. Mauricio Nazelli is closing that gap, which is very, very impressive. He could be there at the end of this race. Again, pit stops looking here. The first person to stop is Adam Bradshaw. Actually, pit lane time was 0 seconds, so never mind. The first person to stop is going to be Leonard Geese back in Flavio Indalo back in 22nd place. But Yanchi Lin still winning this race right now. Wanted that battle. And I think Felix Simoes may have known now that he's in the slipstream, you don't want to give away your cards too early. Just start watching how Yanchi Lin is making some of these corners. I say that he sticks his nose out right when I say something. Damn, I'm good.
Yeah, he waits till the absolute last moment to step out there, using the slipstream to his advantage as much as possible, getting as much momentum build up, and then popping out just before the brake zone so he can try to outbrake Yanchi Lin into the corner. He did get alongside, but it doesn't look like he's going to retain that spot. Yanchi Lin able to keep the momentum through the S's, retains the lead, and now Trenton Kramer all over the rear bumper of Felix Simoes. He's saying, it's my turn, buddy. Get out of the way. I want a shot at this guy.
Well, it may be, or Trenton may have gotten smart here. You saw how he didn't try to go for a move there on Felix Simoes. He bumped him. He wants to keep him close to Yanchi Lin at this point. That is the goal. Yanchi Lin clearly the fastest driver right now. Even though Mauricio Nazelli has the fastest lap, a lot of that has to do with slipstream. You can see how much, Felix has the fastest car on track, but that has to do with draft. So Trenton Kramer may be trying to keep Felix Simoes as close as possible to Yanchi Lin and let this battle go till after the pits as Trenton gets loose.
We don't see any of the leaders take to the pit lane yet. We do see a few more cars have come to pit lane, and I'm seeing a really big range of pit stop times, anywhere from 14.5 seconds to as much as 17.5 seconds. So it's hard to tell exactly how much fuel these drivers will need. The drivers at the front tend to need less fuel than the drivers at the back. So probably expecting around 15-second stops from most of these drivers as Yanchi Lin under attack once again from Felix Simoes. Simoes going to have the inside line coming into turn 4. Is in his best position thus far. Not going to get a good run off the corner, though, and that's going to give Yanchi Lin the position back as they make their run up towards turn 7. And there you see a big tap of the brakes out of Trenton Kramer, so he's playing the patience game right now.
He is, yeah. Again, now watch Trent here. He's probably going to get right onto the back. Never mind, we're going to go to Mauricio Nazelli, who is now 0.6 of a second behind Kevin Binkley. He's closed that gap. He's part of this again, Randall.
And he's going to be seeing a bit of red, I bet, from the beginning of this race. Once he comes out of the pit lane, expect to see that driver not have any gloves left on. The gloves are out the window and completely off, as he will be looking to challenge for this win. Once again, we know that Mauricio Nazelli is fast and he's got the speed. Jorg Manny and the number 75 of Kevin Binkley both going to dip into pit lane to take service to the first of this lead group to come in. We'll see how this all shakes out in the coming laps.
Yeah, it's going to get real interesting here. Jorg and Binkley in. That means none of these drivers decided to go with them. And now the question is, we've got a crash before we go there. Oh no, Frito, the Frito team. Edgar's not in this, but Matt Thompson is, and it sounds like there may have been an issue here going into the final chicane, Randall.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm going to guess that he probably gets too much of one of these curbs, and no, he just misses the braking marker and decides to pull off to the side, and he's like, yeah, I'll just sit here for a minute, gather my wits, and then make my way back towards the track slowly. Maybe he's going to call it a day here, but it doesn't look like there was any contact. Nothing really caused him to get out there. Maybe just missed his brake marker, and that's going to be enough for Matt Thompson today.
Matt, if you want some airtime, that's a good way to get it. Just go off track, buddy. I mean, I know you're part of Frito Sport, and I know that's a big team, but listen, dude, you can keep it on track. We'll cover you, I promise. But anyways, back to the lead. Felix Simo still trying to think. You wonder if Felix is doing this to see where Yanchi is fast at this point, Randall, because I have a feeling that if he wanted to make some moves, just kidding, they're all into the pits. Watch that pit entry. Maurizio Nazelli looked like he just sped into the pits there.
Nazelli definitely attacked that pit entry, and he's gonna, if it didn't end up in speeding, he's gonna make up a ton of track position based just on that entry. You saw how much he closed the gaps to the car ahead. That's a huge win for him if he didn't speed. It's gonna give Trenton Kramer the provisional lead right now. Jason Green gonna move up to second. Martin Van Acklen, who was involved in one of those lead pack incidents, now up to third place, so kind of back in a position to be in contact with these leaders. He's still gonna need to make a really good pit stop to have that work out. Yanchi Lin comes out of the pits with a 14.8 second stop time. Felix Simoza 14.3. Maurizio Naselli a 14.5. Jörg Manny with a 14.9. Kevin Binkley with a 15.8. So seeing a pretty tight pack there out of the leaders as they've come into the pit lane. We'll see if these other drivers are able to do the same. Trenton Kramer continues to lead the way over Jason Green and Martin Van Acklen. We will see if they come into the pits this lap or if they try to stretch another lap out of it. I suspect that Jason Green might try to stay out and stretch out another lap, as nope, they're going to come, all three come to the pit lane right now. Trenton Kramer leads the way in. We'll see where they spit out. Keep your eyes on Yanchi Lin, your effective race leader right now. We'll see who wins in the pit strategy, but it looks like right now behind Yanchi Lin is Andrea Favini, a lap down, who is already pit. Those Favini must have been involved in some incidents in order to be a lap down. Normally we see him racing much faster, so he's got a lap car between he and Felix Simoes. Simoes going to get around Favini. Favini playing a smart game here. Favini's a really fast driver, showing some good intelligence here to kind of get out of the way, let the leaders go by, as now Jason Green's going to lead the group off pit lane. He's going to gain a bunch of spots. This is going to spit him out in a third place. Yanchi Lin going to retain the lead over Felix Simoes. Oh, the 20 of Trenton Kramer gets pushed really wide there coming out of the pit lane.
Yeah, Nazelli is back into this battle, and he's got that damage fix now. So keep that in mind with the quick repair that they have here in the Spec Racer Ford Weekend Warriors. Jason Green, though, has found his way up into third place. I apologize for having to give you the mic for a bit, Randall. The only thing I can describe to what I just saw behind me was my wife with socks on the side of her head because she said she wants curls. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. I had to take a break and see what was going on. Michelle Lynn, though, oh, you want to talk about pit exits? Holy cow, how did Michelle avoid what just happened there?
And there was some definite panic breaking there out of Michelle Lynn. And hopefully she wore her brown driving suit today, because that is a brown driving suit moment. As Naselli sends it up the inside of Jason Green going to the chicane. He's going to drive it really wide. He's going to get very loose on exit. Green's going to have to take evasive action. So maybe not going to retain that spot. Naselli is going to be not only not getting that spot, but losing a spot to Trenton Kramer. So Naselli very eager to get this race underway. He's going to look to the inside here on Trenton Kramer, and Trenton Kramer's going to leave space.
Oh, Jesus. I mean, Mazelli. Oh, no, Trent. Trent is showing his displeasure of that corner exit. He is right onto the side of his Nazelli. He's going to move Nazelli if he has the chance here, but Nazelli may try to do the same thing to him. Trenton trying the over-under here. He gets him. I believe Trent is a bit upset with how much track Nazelli used. Trent gave him everything he could, but look what that's doing to Jason Green. He's driving away, but he's got 2 seconds up to Felix Simoes. Nazelli finally lets Trent go. Trent was clearly unhappy with what just happened there.
I gotta say, Nazelli is very lucky that I'm not piloting that number 20 car, because I don't think I would have left the space. I would have closed down on that apex, said, no, that's my corner, and if you don't back out, we're both crashing. It looks like cooler heads prevailed right now. Trenton Kramer with the lead, but Nazelli looking to the inside. Another move into the chicane. He should get this one done pretty handily. And yes, he's kind of much more in control this time through the chicane. It gets him back into the same position he was just over a lap ago. Now trying to track down Jason Green.
Yo, God, see Trent. You saw what Trent was doing with Felix Simoes. He was pushing Simoes up to Yanchi Lin. He is not allowing Nazelli the same type of pleasure. He's actually trying to pass Nazelli at every chance. Jason Green getting away every second that this goes on.
Absolutely. I think sometimes if you sit in a move, even if there's not an incident that results from it, sometimes you just try the patience of the other driver. And when that patience is run out, like we're seeing here, Trenton Kramer not going to just roll over and let the faster driver have the spot. He's going to make him work for it. And he did. He made him work for it twice, 3 times, possibly even 4 times in order to get that position done. Now they're settled in line. We'll see if Nizelli is able to track down Jason Green, but it took him 3 laps to sort all this out. Oh, yeah. Big slide out of Trenton Kramer. Look at all the opposite lock. He gets over in the grass. Keep it. What a save.
Oh my goodness, I don't care how many positions Trent Kramer just lost there. What a save. All that Mini Cooper driving comes into play for Trent Kramer.
I hate to say it, but it looks like Trenton Kramer, oh no, it was just a slowdown possibly for cutting the track too much. It took him too long to get back on the track. He's got that taken care of, but it briefly flashed up as a black flag. Yeah, he's going through. It is a black flag, a drive-through penalty for Trenton Kramer after that wild ride at the top of the hill. What a save and what a repayment. Jeez.
Marco Pinero in chat says, how to lose time, LOL. Talking about Trent on the back of Maurizio Nizelli, but you do understand, Marco, why Trent did that. But speaking of Nizelli, he has moved up in front of Jason Green. Sounds like we've got an incident coming up here. Yanchi Lin on the back of Samos goes for it. The 319 car, I don't know who that is with lap traffic, but Yanchi going to try to get this move done. And I want to mention something, Randall. If he does get this move done, he does. Look at how much, wow, does he? He might have it. Felix Samos trying to hang it around the outside. But when Felix Samos was trying to do the same thing to Yanchi Lin earlier, Yanchi was able to hang it around the outside and hold that position, Randall. So Yanchi clearly knows what he's doing around this track in this car.
It kind of seems like he's toying with his food, but so speaking of toying with their food, Maurizio Nizelli has finally gotten up to JG2, and it looks like he's going to get that position into turn 1 pretty easily. A textbook move there, drives pretty deep, keeps Jason Green wide as they come into the entry, gets the apex, and drives off. So now Jason Green going to try to hold on to him as they try to track down the leading pair of Felix Samos and Yanchi Lin. They have Michelle Viglini, who was that car that the leaders lapped in that previous replay between them, so that might help him get a little bit of slipstream, especially if they catch Viglini on the straight and Viglini's able to pull over and get out of the way. As now beyond Yanchi Lin is making his way around Domenico Massi, so that's going to be 2 lap cars between this lead pair and the group that's chasing them.
Now, I'm going to do something that I shouldn't do on the broadcast here, but I'm going to tell our producer that there is a battles box option in the in your settings there, Mr. Guido, that can show exactly where our leaders are. Oh, he's got it pulled up right now, so it'll show where the leaders are compared to the lap traffic, which are starting to get into the 319 car now of the 2-car Martin Van Eckelen trying to get around the 319 as well. So there is all kinds of stuff going on right now, and I have no idea who that lap traffic was. That was Viglini, so Viglini does get out of the way. Now, Martin Van Eckelen on his way. Jorg Monty, by the way, we haven't talked about him because of what's going on up front. Felix Samos now looks like he's gotten past Yanchi Lin and almost pulled a 10th of a second here. No, it's dropped back down again.
So battle is going on up front. The fight continues on. Yanchi Lin's going to have the inside run as they come down the hill, but Samos is going to have the inside line to turn 4. It doesn't look like he's going to continue to be there. So Yanchi Lin going to be able to retain that position. Samos, Yanchi Lin, the knives are out, elbows are out, gloves are off, and they are absolutely fighting. We're serving lap 28 of what looks to be a 32-lap race. So they'll be coming to 4 more laps to go this time by. Jörg Manny kind of sitting in the catbird seat here in 5th place. If these drivers ahead all start fighting, he might have some easy positions to pick up or to clean up, as he is the janitor after all.
He is. Domenico Massi, the next person on the list for Maurizio Nizelli to try to get by. He is somewhere up there. You can't see him on track yet. Felix Samos goes for another move. He got it done. Yanchi Lin is now in second. Felix Samos in first. Felix, I do want to mention, is very good through that final chicane, Randall.
Yeah, he definitely knows how much of those curves he can run, but here comes Yanchi Lin again. They're trading haymakers lap after lap. It seems like Samos gets the better of Yanchi Lin in the back end of the lap, and then Yanchi Lin is there at turn 1, turns 2, and down the hill, and ultimately gets that position back in turn 4. We see this play out a few times this race as they make their way side by side through the S's, and Yanchi Lin does have that ultimately the inside line through turn 3. and that's going to give him the easy run through turn 4. So it just keeps replaying like this. Felix Samoza is going to have to try something different to keep ahead of Yanshi Lin next time he passes it.
Yeah, so we just saw both of those drivers go off track there, Randall, and that's something that they're going to have to start thinking about. Remember, the off-track limits in this league are very, very strict, so they're going to have to keep that in mind come the checkered flag. We've only got about 4 minutes left. Looking in chat, Mauricio broke the jaft when he went for that pass into the chicane and forced Jason and Trent to lift and avoid when Mauricio blew the exit. Yes, Russ, there is a lot that has gone on up front, but that has caused Mauricio to lose whatever time he had. Now these drivers can basically battle up front. 1.8 seconds, so Mauricio still has a bit of a chance there. It's going to be very, very close. I don't know, Randall, if Mauricio's got enough time to get there.
Domenico Massi pulls out of the way, so Maurizio Naselli can now see the leaders, and if they continue to fight like they have been, Maurizio will have plenty of chance to close that gap. This time it looks like Samoza's backed off. He's kind of aware of the situation behind him, so maybe just biding his time. He knows he's quick in that last chicane, so probably just waiting to get that move done as we see Sulov shoot into the pits again, possibly going to be getting the Thompson Trophy for fuel management. He was one of the first drivers to come in. You see him taking fuel once again this time, and tires.
Randall, if you mention the Thompson Trophy one more time in a broadcast today, I am going to totally delete and block you off of every social media site, off of Discord, and I'm deleting your number out of my phone and blocking you there too. Stop talking about the Thompson Trophy. Michelle Lynn did it first.
Get better at fuel management, Adam, and we won't have to have a trophy with your name on it.
I did it once, Randall. It was one time, but Mauricio Naselli and Jason Green still going at it on track.
Absolutely. Jason Green's not going to let this go without a fight. He's biding his time right now. He had a decent pit stop and is in a good position as we see Felix Samoza running really wide, getting around Leonard Geese coming out of the final corner. So that's going to give Yanshi Lin a lap and a half of reprieve, and he's going to try to drive off into the sunset. Here comes Naselli. Let's see if Geese is going to stay out of the way. No, he's going to keep his pace up as much as he can. He's going to run off, and it's going to collect Naselli. You had to see it coming. Jason Green has to check up and pulls off track. That's going to give Jörg Manny third position, and Naselli is going to be seeing absolute red after this race.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, man, Randall, I've been in that position. It is not a good position to be in at all.
We'll see if Jörg Manny has any pace to close up to Felix Samoza. That gap is only 1.5 seconds, despite having to avoid that incident. So maybe he's got a shot here as we see Kevin Binkley making a move on Jason Green through turn 7. Going to get the move not quite done, but he will be alongside and have the preferred line at the top of the hill. We'll see if he's able to keep that spot or not. Jason Green fighting really hard around the outside. Wow. We're going to have a drag race down to the chicane. Binkley going to have the preferred line. We'll see if he's able to completely close this position. No, it looks like Green's going to have the good run down the straightaway. Binkley with the preferred line. Hopefully this shakes out. Binkley actually checks up. Kind of a shock there. It lets Jason Green retain the position. I'm a little surprised as they come on to lap 32. White flag in the air. You see that? Barney waving that white flag as Martin Van Hakelen's going to say, no, I want the Thompson Trophy for fuel management.
Stop it, Randall. Stop it. And everybody in the chat, too, can stop talking about how sensitive I am about the Thompson Trophy because I'm not the one that did it first. I'm not the one that did it first. It was Michelle Lynn.
Correction, he's not going for the Thompson Trophy. He got a penalty, so too many off tracks, too many incident points. As Yanshi Lin under attack one more time. Here comes Felix Samoza. This is the last chance. Who's going to win?
He got him. Looks like Yanshi gave him the outside. Now the inside, though. Looks like Felix is going to have to try to over-under him here. It's going to get real close here into the chicane at the end, Randall.
You see Yanshi trying to go defensive, but he had a nose contact. He had to see it coming. Jörg Manny going to clean up 2 spots and goes to the league. The janitor going to get 2 wins today.
Unbelievable. Jörg Manny is going to take this win. Kevin Binkley is going to come home second, but maybe not. Jason Green is not going to lift going into this chicane. Kevin Binkley on the brake. Jason thought he was going to go around the outside. Jason slow into the chicane. Looks like Jason's going to take second place after everything's said and done. Kevin Binkley coming home third. What just happened?
The janitor happened. That's exactly what happened. Yanshi Lin going to come home 4th overall. All things considered, not terrible, but not what he expected. And he probably regrets giving up that gap to Felix Simoes now. We'll see what the stewards have to say about that. Martin Van Aken comes across the line at 7th. Trenton Kramer comes home at 8th. And we'll try to get a replay of what happened there between the leaders.
We got to look at Dan Witzak here. Dan Witzak does come home first in Spec 2. Dan Witzak, we didn't cover him at all. I don't know where he came from. I am so sorry, Dan, but congrats on your Spec 2 win. Tom Gradwell now, Jim Brewster, all of the Masters coming home way behind Jorg Monty. Kenneth Batley, I can't even talk anymore after what we just saw the last lap. Flavio Andalo in 18th, Adam Bradshaw in 19th, Phil Berry in 20th with Daniel Salmon coming home 21st. Look at this battle back here that we're not even covering. There's so much going on. Looks like Scott Russell, Stephen Mitchell, and then Jeff Wubker going to be coming home in 27th. Andrew Love, 28th. Paolo Brime going to find his way home in 29th position. That is the last person we're waiting to cross the line, but we do need to get a replay here when we get the chance.
As we see in true Weekend Warriors fashion, some of these drivers lining up for some after-race shenanigans here at Donington. Jason Green, normally the Pied Piper. We're going to take a look at the replay here and see exactly what happened between Simoes and Naselli. That was Naselli getting taken out by the lap down car as it had struggled there on the exit of turn 1. And then we're going to see what happened between. Yeah, we see another angle here of Naselli. This is really tough to watch because we've all been in this position before where it's a lap down car. And the rules in iRacing for blue flags, the blue flag is informational only, so they're not obligated to get out of anybody's way. And he surely didn't that time.
No, and now we're going to be here with Jason Green. Jason had to... Oh, my goodness. Jason turned into the wreck and no damage. Unbelievable avoidance. I think Jason, finally, the iRacing gods are with him, and he missed that crash.
Yeah, he did everything he could to get involved in it there, and... he took the gamble that the wreck was going to go to the left, and it went the exact opposite. And he was able to check up, even on the grass, able to check up enough to stay out of it. So a lucky move out of Jason. It looks like he's found plenty of incidents after the race.
Yeah, we missed all of that, but that doesn't matter. I mean, nope, he didn't fight. He found another one, and we got to there's some mounting going on. As Ron would say, this is only appropriate for National Geographic, Randall.
You and me, baby, ain't nothing but mammals.
On to the results when we can get them, as it looks like there's another car crabbing in to give one more move on to Jason Green. Jorg Monty, and I do want to mention some shout outs here in the chat. Marco Panero said, I remember he beat me in the last lap, but don't remember what track. He said, if I remember the last win for Monty, Randall, think about this, was 2021 season 4 for the SRFs. If that holds true, that is impressive, Jorg Monty. Finally with the next win in 2025.
2 wins, overall wins today. Just let that sink in. 2 wins overall from the Masters division. Both of them go to the janitor, Jorg Monty. He is on fire. Everything's coming up, Jorg.
He is, but Jason Green comes home second. Jason was in 4th until some incidents that we saw towards the end. Kevin Binkley comes home 3rd, decided to drive around Yanchi Lin and Felix Simoes, who were leading until about 15 seconds to go in the race. Yanchi comes home 4th, Felix Simoes in 5th, Tortullo in 6th with Martine Van Eckelen in 7th, Trenton Kramer in 8th. Dan Witzak comes home your Spec 2 winner in 9th with Brad Cathcart rounding out your top 10.
11th place, Ben Rycroft with Tom Gradwell in 12th place. 13th, Jim Brewster, who's up 24 spots.
Unbelievable.
I think he is the biggest gainer of the day. We didn't see him much in the broadcast, but 24 spots is amazing. Kenneth Batley in 14th. David Jarvis in 15th. Paul Jackson, 16th. Daniel Wood up 5 spots in 17th. Flavio Andalo comes home 18th. Adam Bradshaw up 19th. Philip Berry in the other Cookie Monster entry finishes up 18 spots in 20th place.
Daniel, Sim, and Mr. Zippy on the mic comes home in 21st position. Daniel has had much better showings than he had today, but Daniel will be back, and I promise you he's quick. Mario Kresmer in 22nd with Kurt Nunez coming home 23rd. Scott Russell 24th. Stephen Mitchell 25th. Jeff Wubker in 26th. Michelle Lynn in 27th with Andrew Levin 28th, Paolo Brime 29th, Domenico Massi coming home to round out the 30 cars, Andrea Favini in 31st, Michelle Viglini in, I think that's Michelle Viglini in 32nd, Mauricio Nizelli 33rd, Sue, what was that? Say that one more time, Guido. Vaglini. See, no, I can't do it. I'm not Italian like Guido is. But anyways, Michelle Viglini in 32nd, Mauricio Nizelli in 33rd, Sewell Al-Shootwi in 34th, Joachim Osbeck in 35th, with Leonard Geese coming home in 36th.
37th, Matt Thompson, who we saw give up the ghost with not very many laps left to go, down 6 laps. Aid Allen in 38th. We saw him involved in some of those mid-pack battles. Michael McConnell did not have a good day after having a pretty good one in the Formula Ford. Comes home with 39th. Jan Cheek. We saw him involved in an incident where he was trying to break in the grass. Comes home in 40th. Russell Telker going to bring it home in 41st. Joshua Wilkie, who didn't really survive the start, going to be 42nd. Josh Arnold 43rd, and Sebastian Post, we did not see him take to the grid, so that'll round out your classified finishers.
Yes, it will. But speaking of some drivers we've got to talk to, I'm going to bring in a driver that's been hanging out in the interview waiting room all weekend. And Guido, are you okay with going a little bit over on this broadcast as long as you don't charge Stevie? Okay, so we're going to bring in Mr. Jim Brewster. Jim, you've been hanging out in interview waiting, and we decided to drag you in here. Jim, you came home somewhere up there. I know you came home. Let me look for you real quick. It doesn't matter.
13th, dude.
You did. You got.
I was, and
you're the biggest mover.
I was the 37th slowest car on the track.
Well, you were at the start. You were.
Well, I know. So I don't deserve to be here. I actually had 4th in the Masters. I just wanted to brag a little bit. I had a fun race, and a lot of other people. I heard problems with gas. I heard problems with X's. I avoided those problems, and I was looking to have a race all race long with Phil Berry, and we were together. And then he went to pit, and we got back. Phil's a blast to race with, and so thanks to Phil, I was lucky. I got him. He had to go in the pits late, so I'm guessing he was short on gas too. So something weird about the gas calculations to happen today. Anyway,
don't you say it, Jim.
Go get those real winners. I'm just bragging. I had 37th, 13th, and I'm going to go party. See you guys
Jim,
later.
Oh, okay. Well, see you later, Jim. I do have one
bet.
more question, though, for you.
Yes, yes.
Eagles or Chiefs?
Mahomes is so flashy, and Philly's known for having the grumpiest fans in the world. It's going to be a good game, I think.
I'm
more excited. I'm more excited about last night. Little brother, not James Stewart, his brother. I can't remember his name. Anyway, got his first Supercross win ever, which was huge. He went from 8th to 1st. Major accomplishment. I'm much more of a Supercross guy than football. Anyway, go get the real winners on the phone. Get York for kicking butt, and those guys getting lucky, avoiding the crashes. Talk to you guys next week.
Anybody you want to thank or shout out, Jim, or did you already do it?
Bye, Tam.
Bye, Tam. All right, that was Jim Brewster there. Just wanted to come in and talk to him for just a bit, and we are going to bring in the winner of the race, and it was not without some peril, Randall. I'll let you have him, Jorg Monty.
Jorg, I've been calling you the janitor this season, and you have exemplified that name. 2 overall wins, 1 day. How does it feel, buddy?
You can't imagine. I'm not streaming anymore now.
Oh, I was screaming the whole race, Jorg.
But it was actually one of the most interesting races, I think. One of the most lucky ones for me. And definitely interesting, especially in avoiding crashes and spins and stuff.
So were you thinking coming into that last lap that if these two start racing too hard and clean each other out, I've got a shot here? Did that even enter your head? And then suddenly it happened?
No, I just take it as it happened. Again, I had to avoid those spins, and that was pretty close, I think. So after that, it was just great. I'm just, what? Where are they going? That's what I was actually thinking.
So a lot of people will say you got really lucky today, but in my book, luck is defined where preparation meets opportunity. And you were not slow today. You were up there with the leaders the entire race, through the pit cycle, through everything. You avoided all the incidents that happened up there, and it worked out in your favor. What was the biggest surprise of the day, other than, I guess, the win?
What was the biggest surprise? Good question. Yeah, the win. I don't think, and that I could avoid actually, the crashes and the spins. That was actually the one thing I would remember in this race. Yeah. Besides winning it, of course.
Well, when a mess happens on track, the janitor is there to clean it up. And before we let you go celebrate the surprise victory, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
To you guys, all of you, and thank you for screaming at me, Adam. I could virtually hear that. And yeah, to all the sponsors and to all the racers, it was a real good races, both of it actually.
Well, congratulations again on both of your wins today. Go celebrate. You definitely earned it, and hopefully we'll be talking to you again here soon.
I hope so too, but you should take it as it is. Maybe I got lucky again, but let's see.
There's one question I have to ask you before we let you go here. Marco Pinero said something, and I need you, unless you already mentioned it, Randall. I've been multitasking, and I cannot multitask. But Marco Pinero said, I remember the last win for Monty was 2021 season 4. Is that correct in the SRFs?
Yes, I beat Marco actually on that time.
Wow. So congrats. Jorg, it took you 5 years almost to get back to the top step of the podium. Congratulations, my man.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Adam. Okay. Good night, guys.
Good night, Jorg. That was Jorg Monty there, a winner for the first time in 4 years. Now, I want to do something here, Randall. I'm going to bring Kevin Binkley and Jason Green at the same time here, because I'm pretty sure for about 4 minutes, you guys were separated, but for most of the time, you were together that whole race. How was that, Jason, for you, from your perspective?
I'm still kind of processing that race, to be honest. That race was freaking wild. Yeah, I was just kind of hanging out at the back of the pack, and then after the pit stops, just things kind of kicked off. Had a great battle with Kevin at the end of the last 2 laps. I felt like we were side by side for the whole thing. So yeah, that was a lot of fun.
You can't tell me you were hanging out at the back, Jason, when you started in 10th, dude. Like, that's not at the back, first of all. And if you think that's the back, we need to reevaluate how fast you think you are in iRacing. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is when you had Kevin Binkley around you most of the race. Some of those battles we covered on the broadcast, Jason, were tight, but you guys left each other room. It was some of the most impressive racing I've seen all season.
Yeah, Kevin did a great job. For not getting killed by me, which I seem to be doing a lot recently. So yeah, happy I was able to keep it clean. We were able to have a great battle.
Jason, I got to talk about, there was an incident, I cannot remember, I think it was Maurizio Nazelli who got in a bit of an incident there, and you decided to turn right into the crash. I think the iRacing gods have finally decided to give you a bone. You turned right, hit the brakes into the grass, which is where the wreck was going. How brown are your white pants right now?
I was surprised. I didn't even get a contact there. I thought from on board, I had nowhere to go. Essentially, I just kept it in a straight line, broke as hard as I could, and prayed. And luckily, they kept washing out to the inside of the track, and I was able to make it through.
Well, congrats, Jason, on your Spec 1 win. I know you needed it. Yanchi Lin and Felix Mose come together on the final lap. I don't know what that's going to do to points. I don't know if you even have a chance here, buddy, but congrats on your Spec 1 win, Jason.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
And before I let you go, I'm going to ask everybody this. Eagles or Chiefs, even though I know you're not a football fan?
Chiefs.
Okay, good. Now you can have a deal with Michelle after that one. Congrats, Jason. Goodbye. That was Jason Green, and now we bring in Kevin Binkley. Kevin, congrats, buddy. Third overall, second in class. That was a pretty good battle you had there with Jason.
That was very entertaining also from the driver's seat. I went into this race thinking, okay, you know what, a top 10 would be happy, and I spent most of that race using the draft, using Jason's draft to stay up there, and I guess chaos ensued, and here I am P3, which was, more than I thought I was going to get out of this race.
It did, Kevin, and there was a lot going on. We didn't cover you that much, but I know there was a lot of chaos ahead of you. Just kind of talk us through that last lap when you see Yanchi and Felix going sideways in front of you, or were they clear by the time you got to them?
By the time I got to them, they were starting to get clear. So then I just wanted to use what I could of the momentum that I had, and I guess that's what really got Jason and I battling toward the end there. But coming up to the final chicane side by side, I felt instead of causing any more issues, a P3 would be good to walk away with. So. But I wanted to keep it tight in case, Jason overshot it or made a mistake anywhere there. But overall, man, I'm thrilled with the P3.
I would be thrilled with the P3 if I were you, Kevin. And this is a new driver that I haven't really seen that much in Spec Racer Fords. How long have you been around?
This is only my second race with this group, especially coming back to the SRF. I haven't done many official races in this car in a long time, and really enjoying it. And especially since they went back to the sequentials, I just haven't really done a lot with it, and I'm enjoying the feel of it, the driving aspect, and the close racing is fantastic. So I'm really enjoying it. So we should be seeing a little bit more of me.
Well, I hope we do see a lot more of you, and I hope you give us more racing like that, Kevin. Congratulations on P3. Congratulations on second place in class as well, man. Anybody you want to thank or shout out before we let you go?
Just everybody in the league here that's been fantastic to race with, and you guys for doing the broadcasting. Thank you so much.
Awesome, Kevin. Thank you so much, man. I hope to talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Thanks.
That was Kevin Binkley there. Comes home third overall, but second in class. Randall, there's a lot to unpack. It is going to take me a couple days because we got to unpack a football game coming up here very, very soon. And here in about 2 hours, actually. But one of the more interesting races, at least I've been a part of this season.
Wow, yeah, just absolutely action-packed. You know that the SRF's going to deliver every week, and then when you pair it with a track like Donington National, just look out. And it was absolutely what we expect to see out of these drivers every week. They were fighting hard all up and down the leaderboard the entire race. We saw, some little scrums, some little incidents, but that's going to happen. It was an exciting race to watch, and never count out Jörg Manning. He's always going to be there at the end.
It really was something it's gonna take me a minute to think about everything that happened. I'm actually gonna have to go back and watch the broadcast to see how much of a little girl I turned into for some of those moments. But I do want to shout out Guido Marzucchi. Did I say it right, Guido? It's Marzucchi, right? Not Marzucci. Yeah. So I want to shout out Guido Marzucchi because I know it makes him mad when I say that, for the broadcast and for the production behind the scenes. He did an absolutely amazing job today. Welcome to the Slow Motion Broadcasting team, Guido. Cannot wait to see how many more races you get under your belt and how much you enjoy this, because I have enjoyed this for such a long time. But from myself, Randall McGrew, and Mr. Guido Marzucchi running the cameras behind the scenes, this has been Slow Motion Broadcasting coverage of the Spec Racer Ford Weekend War. Jeez, I messed that up. Yeah, no, I didn't. The Spec Racer Ford Weekend Warriors. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night, rest of your morning, wherever you're at in the world, and go Chiefs.